Tua is your start of the week. Tell us why.
Well, first off, I love the game setup. It's expected to be the highest over-under for the weekend, so we're expecting, both teams to show up in a big way. And I think Tua's probably going to have to keep up with Justin Herbert because that Chargers offense is not going to miss a beat. So love the setup for him. He should have the opportunity to show fantasy managers they should have drafted him as a #1 quarterback. So Tyreek Hill's been fantastic. Anytime the Dolphins have been, really in his career, hasn't happened very much with the Chiefs, but whenever he's been an underdog, he's gone off. Jalen Waddle's good to go. I think Tua is just going to have an absolute monster performance in this matchup. So love the setup for him. And on the other side, just expect the Chargers to show up in a big way also.
Yeah, I picked Tyreek in my CBS league, so I'm certainly hoping for a great game from him. Next up, let's talk about the Broncos and the Raiders. We've talked about the Broncos before, Dave, especially when all that Jerry Jeudy news came down with his injury. They are banged up at wide receiver. So what does this mean for the rest of their offense? Who's going to be picking up that slack?
Well, let's start at the running game, actually. Javonte Williams is expected to play. Remember, he's coming back from a torn ACL, and he's actually looked okay. Hasn't looked like the same explosive guy that we saw coming out of North Carolina once upon a time. And he's going to share work with Samaje Perine in that backfield. And there might even be a third man in Jaleel McLaughlin who could come out there and get some burst in there as well. But this offense is going to revolve around the quarterback, Russell Wilson. And if he's got Jerry Jeudy to throw to, I think that actually hurts the upside of the receivers. And Javonte Williams could pick up some catches here, but I wouldn't expect him to have a big game. Las Vegas's run defense has actually improved. They've got some better personnel up front, so it makes me a little bit nervous to start Javonte Williams. I look at him as a low-end 2 running back, maybe a high-end flex in non-PPR leagues. On the other side for the passing game, Courtland Sutton. If there's no Jeudy, I love him. I think he's a #2 wide receiver. If there is Jerry Jeudy, then obviously he's not going to be as exciting, won't see as many targets. I'd look at him as more of a PPR flex.
Sutton last year had 4 games where Jerry Jeudy left or did not play. And in those 4 games, he had 12 PPR points or more in each of them without scoring a touchdown. He had a touchdown in one of the 2 games against the Raiders last year. So it's an absolute great call to lean on Sutton as at least a starter in a 3-receiver league. And let's not forget about Marvin Mims. This is a guy that Sean Payton actually drafted. He's part of the new regime. And I think we'll see him make some plays as well. So both receivers for Denver are in play with Jerry Jeudy not expected to go.
Yeah, the new regime there in Sean Payton, they're certainly not kissing any babies that we've seen.
That is done. Those days are over.
They're over. All right, guys, you have the Battle of Ohio with the Bengals and the Browns. Joe Burrow does not have the best track record against Cleveland. He's 1-4 against the Browns in his career. Deshaun Watson, it's his first full season with Cleveland. Obviously missing 11 games because of that suspension last season. Jamie, I saw Deshaun dropping to a lot of later rounds in a lot of my drafts. Is he a start for you this week?
He is, and I think he's going to surprise some people this week. It's the Bengals defense that last year was really good, but they're dealing with a revamped secondary, and, one of their key pass rushers is not going to play in this game. So 2 new safeties. I think we'll see the absence of Von Bell and Jesse Bates be felt in this game. So I think Deshaun Watson has an opportunity to play well here. Not a slam dunk, top 10, top 5 type of guy, but if you do have him as your starter, I wouldn't go looking to replace him for a Geno Smith, for Kirk Cousins. I would have said the same thing about Jared Goff last night. I think he'll do well, and he'll lean on his playmakers in the passing game. You got a must-start guy in Amari Cooper, who we know when he's at home has monster performances, all but 2 games last year in Cleveland, either 94 yards or a touchdown. I think Elijah Moore is in play. I think he's going to actually be the second guy that they use out of the backfield, as we saw in some preseason action. He'll be moved around the formation. His a chance to be a starter in 3-receiver leagues. And then you look at David Njoku, again, with those 2 safeties not being there, he's going to have an opportunity to make some plays. And even last year, when they did have the safeties there, one of his best games did come against the Bengals. So David Njoku is a must-start tight end for this week. Not that he wasn't being drafted as such, but Deshaun Watson should lean on him quite a bit in this matchup.
I love the Njoku call. Top 5 tight end for me. Better than Kyle Pitts in week 1. Last year, 9 targets, 7 catches, and a touchdown for David Njoku. And who was the quarterback in that game? It was Deshaun Watson. He's going to be that short area target for Watson. So when things aren't available downfield, he's going to lean on Njoku to make a catch and then do something with the ball after the catch.